Kings Island's Halloween Haunt is a scary Halloween event at Kings Island. This video is where I'm going to give you many tips and tricks on how to enjoy your time at Kings Island's Halloween Haunt. Quick disclaimer, before we get started, Kings Island's Halloween Haunt is not recommended for young kids. Kings Island does not give a specific age recommendation, but kids over the age of 12 should be just fine. And if you're not a big fan of getting scared, there are plenty of other things you can do. So you may be wondering, what time should I get there? Well, that depends on what day you're going. If you're going on a Friday, I recommend getting there about 30 minutes before the park opens. This will give you ample time to get to your attraction of choice. If you're going on a Saturday, I recommend getting there about an hour before haunt starts. This will allow you to ride a roller coaster or two, or get in line for whatever maze you would like to do first. You also might be wondering, can I go on a Saturday, or will it be too busy? The answer to that question is yes and no. Saturdays are very busy up there, and you will have to wait at least 30 minutes for everything. But if you can only go on a Saturday, it is doable. You won't be able to get everything done in the park, but you can hit the highlights. What are the best night rides to do at Haunt? I personally recommend a Beast and an Orion night ride. These two are my favorite night rides. Or a Banshee, Diamondback, or Mystic Timbers night rides are all very good too. In fact, I've gotten my best ride on Beast and Orion at night at Haunt earlier this year. Although you have to wait a significant amount of time for each attraction, the ride is well worth the wait. Both coasters are always flying, and doing it at night makes it feel even crazier. Now, what mazes should I do while at Haunt? I highly recommend Killmart. It's a really good haunted house themed to the zombie apocalypse. Also, Alien Abyss is a very unique alien-themed haunted house that I enjoyed a lot when I did it last year. I've personally not done Slaughterhouse, but I heard it was very gory. And don't even try to do Cornered. It's not worth your time. But my favorite haunted house of all is Madame Fay Tale's Cavern of Terror. I really enjoyed it. It had some really good jump scares and a really good story behind it. Plus, the line actually moved really fast. And it's not super scary, so if you have not done a haunted house before, you can easily do this and not have much trouble. Also recommend walking through the scare zones. These are located on International Street, Old Coney, Area 72, and Rivertown. These scare zones have actors walking around who scare you as you walk through the midways. I would say my favorite scare zones, probably Coney Mall. There's always a lot of scare actors walking around, and I really like their costumes. Now you may be wondering, how fast will the lines move? Are the operations good? Well, the answer to that question is sometimes. Most of the time, ride staffing is not the issue. The real issue is the amount of fast lane people in the park. Assuming you don't have fast lane, the lines move really slow if there are a lot of fast lane people trying to ride the ride. Separators are instructed to prioritize people in the fast lane queue over the general queue, which means if there's a substantial amount of fast lane, they will load more fast lane people than from the general queue. So if there are a lot of fast lane people, then your line will move much slower. But if there isn't a lot of fast lane people, then your line will move actually surprisingly quick. Most major attractions are staffed well, with rides like Diamondback and Banshee and Orion having 4 to 5 ride-ups on the platform at all times. So when you visit, fingers crossed that there aren't a lot of fast lane people in the park, or else those lines are going to move way slower than they should. Unfortunately, meaning you get to ride less. Another question you may have is, can I do all the haunted houses in one night? The answer to that question is also a maybe. If you're going on a Saturday without a fright lane, there's literally no chance. There just isn't. But if you go on a Friday and work diligently, you just might be able to get through all the haunted houses. But I wouldn't count on it. Should I invest in a fright lane or a fast lane? If you can afford it and are going on a Saturday, I highly recommend it. But if you're not worried about getting everything done and are trying to come back anyway, then don't break the bank by buying one of these. These skip the line wristbands allow you to bypass the general queue, shortening your wait significantly for any haunted house or ride. These are very expensive, and you might be better off just trying to come back later in the haunt season. Are the lines for the rides and mazes long? The answer is a resounding yes. You're lucky to get on any roller coaster or maze in under an hour, especially if you're going on a Saturday. So be prepared to wait for just about anything you try to ride. Because unless you have a fast lane or a fright lane, there's no avoiding it. You just kind of have to wait it out. So, let's talk about guest behavior at Haunt. You might have heard that sometimes the crowd at Haunt can get a little unruly, and that is true, but that is also a rare occurrence. You will occasionally get some people running around and being a little annoying, but it normally isn't a serious problem. But if something major happens, you can always call security. They will handle the problem and likely eject the party from the park. Is Haunt worth it? And my answer to that question is actually yes. I thoroughly enjoy every visit I have had at Halloween Haunt at Kings Island. It is always well done, and I haven't really had a negative experience there whatsoever. I know that yes, lines can be really long, and sometimes the crowd can be a little unruly, but the event is really amazing, and I enjoy it a lot. It's a great place to go have some fun with some friends, and get scared a little bit because it's a Halloween event. Is the chaperone policy still in effect for Haunt? The answer is yes, along with a weird bag policy. You have to have a chaperone with you who's over the age of 21 to be in the park after 4 p.m. at Haunt, or just in general anytime you visit Kings Island. There also is a bag policy to where any bag that you bring in after 4 p.m. that's bigger than like a fanny pack, they won't let you in the park. It's too difficult to search large bags when it's dark outside. So you can't bring in a big bag with you after 4 p.m. at Haunt. If you want to bring in a larger bag, then I recommend getting there before 4 p.m. And yes, they will let you keep the bag with you inside the park if they've already got it checked before 4 p.m. So, what's my overall thoughts on Haunt? I really enjoy Haunt, and I think it's a really well done Halloween event. I feel like Kings Island and Cedar Fair put a lot of effort into this, and the success they have with it is definitely well deserved. Again, I would recommend Haunt to anyone who likes, to get scared or enjoy some really good night rides, because Kings Island has a lot of them. If you found this video helpful in any way, then I would really appreciate if you share, like, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. I hope this video helped you in some way. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.